Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me here on the Noble Crumb. My name is Jason, and I am a chocoholic. I will admit I have a big problem when it comes to chocolate. It is just something about it that I cannot control myself with, and I cannot get enough of. And when I typically want to have a chocolate dessert, I want something super dark, super rich, and just, I don't know, absolutely overall indulgent. So I'm going to share with you a recipe today. It's a chocolate raspberry pudding cake. So it's kind of a cross between a cake and a cheesecake. It's super dense, super rich. I think you guys are really going to like it. And I'm doing it with raspberries. You can switch it up with cherries or any other kind of fruit that you want. Or you can even leave the fruit out altogether and just have a chocolate dessert. So let me know what you guys think of this one. But here are the ingredients for my chocolate raspberry pudding cake.
Okay, so here's what you're going to need for the chocolate raspberry pudding cake. We're going to start with the crust, and all you need for that is 1.5 cups of chocolate cookie crumbs, or any cookie crumbs that you'd prefer, and 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter that has been melted. Now for the pudding cake itself, we're going to use 1.5 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder, a half a teaspoon of salt, 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, a half a cup of white sugar, a half a cup of brown sugar, 9 ounces of dark or bittersweet chocolate, 1.5 cups of water, 2 teaspoons of instant coffee, and 2 eggs. You're going to also need about a cup of raspberries, either fresh or frozen, or any other berries that you'd like. We're going to bake this at 350 for around 40 minutes. And you can finish this off with some basic whipped cream. Alright, so in a mixing bowl here, I've got my 1.5 cups of chocolate cookie crumbs. And to that, I'm going to add my melted butter. This couldn't be simpler. All we're going to do now at this point is give it a good mix until everything's combined. Then after it's been mixed, I'm going to take my 9-inch spring-formed pan. I'm going to pour this in there, and then we're going to pack this down so that it fills the entire bottom of the pan. Alright, so now we're going to move on to our dry ingredients. So in a mixing bowl, I'm going to add my 1.5 cups of flour. Then we're going to add in our baking powder. And we're going to add the salt. And finally, we're going to add in the cocoa powder. Once all your dry ingredients are in a bowl, all you have to do is whisk this together so that everything's combined, and you're going to put this off to the side while we prepare the wet ingredients. Okay, so for the wet ingredients, I've got a medium to large pot here. I'm going to be using about a medium-low temperature to melt everything together. So first we're going to add in our butter. Then we're going to add in both of the sugars. So in goes the brown sugar, and then the white sugar. Next up, we're going to add our chocolate. Now today I'm using a fancier chocolate, but you can totally use chocolate chips. It works just as good for this recipe. And then we're going to add in the water that I've mixed with the 2 teaspoons of instant coffee. Coffee really brings out the flavor of chocolate, so this is a really, really great flavor combination. And over that medium-low heat, I'm just going to slowly keep mixing this and let it all melt together. Okay, so after about 10-15 minutes, everything's melted together. It's looking nice, smooth, and glossy. I'm going to take this off of the heat and bring it over to the table, and we're going to start combining it with our dry ingredients. All right, next up, I've got my melted chocolate mixture here, and it smells absolutely delicious. So now I'm going to take my bowl of dry ingredients, and I'm literally going to pour this entire thing into the pot. Super simple, super easy, super quick. Make sure I get every last bit out. Now to start mixing this, I'm going to start with a wooden spoon. Then I'm going to move on to a whisk to get everything nice, smooth, and get out any lumps that come along. So after a couple minutes of mixing it with my wooden spoon, I move on to my whisk. This is going to get everything nice and smooth and get out any lumps. Then I'm going to take my 2 eggs and I'm just going to take a little whisk here and mix this up. Just beat the eggs just to break them up a bit. And then all we're going to do at this point, once the eggs are nice and beaten, is we're going to pour this into our chocolate mixture, whisking as we pour, and everything is going to come together nicely. And that is literally it for the chocolate pudding cake mixture. Next, we're going to move on and add this to the crust. Okay, so to get this ready for the oven, I've got a cookie sheet here and we're going to put the springform pan on it. This is going to help catch anything that drips out. So with our crust, I'm going to take our chocolate mixture here and we're going to add half of the chocolate batter to the crust. Perfect. After that, we're going to take our raspberries and we're simply just going to start dotting them around on the top of the chocolate batter. Feel free to add as many as you like. Once we've done that, we're going to take the other half of the batter and we're just going to slowly start pouring it on top of the raspberries, getting everything nice and covered. And that is it. So now we're going to move this into the oven for about 40 minutes. So after 40 minutes in the oven, this is what it looks like. The top is nice and cracked. It is still going to be very soft. So we'll let this cool to room temperature and I'm going to put it in the fridge for at least 6 hours. So after 6 hours in the fridge, this pudding cake is absolutely ready to go. So I'm going to take it out of the springform pan and we're going to cut into this. It's going to have a beautiful cheesecake-like consistency dotted with those beautiful raspberries. Definitely give this one a try for anyone who's a chocolate fan.
How delicious does this pudding cake look? I mean, you honestly, it doesn't get much better than that. So give this one a try yourself. It is super easy to make. I think the hardest part was just waiting for everything to set, as always. But yeah, no, it's absolutely delicious. I'm probably gonna go have another piece right now. So thank you guys again for joining me here on the Noble Crumb. I will talk to you guys later and have a good day. Bye.